So Midnight Lycanrock is pretty much the tankier form of the other Lycanrocks with 85 health, 75 defense, and 75 special defense. But pretty much the only difference between the Lycanrocks is the attack and speed for the most part. They all have the same attack. Dusk has slightly higher attack, but pretty much between Midnight and Midday is the speed mostly. Midnight took away speed to get tankier, but his abilities are Keen Eye, Vital Spirit, and No Guard. No Guard is his best ability by far. Vital Spirit is not a great ability unless you're running against Spore or Sleep Powder. It's not that great. You won't really see Hypnosis or Dark Void very often. Keen Eye is You won't see Evasion that much or someone lowering your accuracy that much unless they're running like Minimize or something. But Dynamax also solves the same problem. But 115 attack, 82 speed, decent. He's pretty fast. I honestly didn't know he was that fast. But 85 health and 75 defense is good. He can survive some hits. 55 special attack is whatever. He's not a special attacker. But he's Rock, which kind of sucks since he's trying to be tanky. Because Rock has a lot of weaknesses. He's a pure Rock typing and he has 5 weaknesses. Fighting, Ground, Steel, Water, and Grass. And he resists normal, Flying, Poison, and Fire. But still, that's a lot of weaknesses. But because he's a Rock type, he gets the 50% boost in Sandstorm to special defense. So it's still good in that way. To where it's the one advantage of having a Rock type, being Rock. But other than that, you have a lot of weaknesses. So it's not great. But speaking of being tanky and the Rock boost, this is pretty much a tanky Lycanrock, which is again No Guard, best ability. But No Guard, Bulk Up. And if you can get him in a Sandstorm too, this makes this really good because you'll get the 50% from Sandstorm, the +1 from Bulk Up to your attack and defense. No Guard, so your moves can't miss. Stone Edge can't miss, which is another big thing that Rock types have that suck, is that they don't have any good 100% accuracy move. Stone Edge is 80, I think Rock Slide is 90. But Bulk Up, Sucker Punch, Stone Edge. Revenge is a really good move too, because if they hit you, Revenge will hit them back, and you'll do twice. You'll do 120 power. You could also replace Revenge with Payback in this spot, or you could replace Revenge with Payback, because Payback will do, I think, 100. Yeah, Payback will have 100 power, because if you're slower than 100 with base, Payback will do 100 base power. But he's kind of fast, so you might outspeed some slower, tankier Pokemon, even with no speed investment. I like Citrus Berry to get some health back. You take a hit, you can Citrus Berry procs, you Bulk Up. Especially if you can do this on a special attacker, it's really good, because you could take a hit, Bulk Up, take another hit, Citrus Berry, hit them, and then Sucker Punch and KO them, and then they switch in something else, and you might survive that hit or something like that. So you can get some good damage, or just Sucker Punch. I like having Sucker Punch here just to have the not guaranteed damage, but just like good damage in there. But otherwise, also 90. I think most Lycanrocks are going to be, unless you're going just full defensive tank with like Iron Defense or something like that. I think this is the best EV spread on him. Unless you're going to go and try to do some speed stuff and just put in speed, but 82 speed, you're going to need like a +2 to even be relevant. And he doesn't get Rock Polish anymore because it's not a team anymore, which sucks. So I wouldn't, if you can baton pass speed into him, then I would run speed investment. But if not, you could also give him speed investment too, just to have him outspeed certain Pokemon. So just certain matchups, if you want him to outspeed, you can put the speed investment in, but it takes away from your tankiness. But this is another Lycanrock, which takes use of the No Guard. Pretty much Stone Edge, Iron Tail, Play Rough, and Revenge. And just you come in, you take a hit, and you KO them with Choice Band, No Guard, either Stone Edge, Iron Tail, 120 base power, Revenge, or you just do a ton of damage. He's really good, like, oh, I hit them once, they have 60. So you hit them with a Sucker Punch or something and they get KO'd. He comes in, takes a hit, KOs. They switch in something else, he takes a hit, does a ton of damage. So, as long as, the only thing though is if they switch in something, they're probably going to hit you super effective. But you could also play around this Lycanrock and like switch out to something like a Toxapeck maybe? Toxapex was really good other than for ground. But like a Toxapeck or something really bulky to come in and protect. Or coming in like and take the hit, soak it up. But he's just coming in and doing damage. But another way is just more of a not as offensive Lycanrock. Just come in, take a hit. If it's physical, you counter and you'll almost always KO. If they do 60% of your health, 50-60% of your health, you're KOing them because you're gonna do 374 damage back. You're KOing. No, that's how much base power. What is it? Double the damage received. Yeah, returns double damage. So yeah, you'll do about 375 guaranteed flat damage, guaranteed to them. That's a lot of damage. It'll KO most things. But Sucker Punch for good stab and damage. Stone Edge, Sucker Punch for priority, and Stomping Tantrum with Sucker Punch is a really good combo because let's say you Sucker Punch and they do something else. They don't attack you necessarily. You Sucker Punch, they use Agility or Dragon Dance or something like that. Okay, you Stomping. If they're weak to ground, you Stomping Tantrum next turn that has 150 base power, and you KO them. And let's say you don't KO them, they live, then you just Sucker Punch and KO them. So you Sucker Punch Stomping Tantrum's a really good combo. As long as they don't burn you or put you to sleep or something like that, then it works really well. But close combat, okay, this is one of the speed ones. This is a Dynamax Lycanroc. Close combat, I wouldn't, unless you're having speed on him, I wouldn't use close combat normally, just because you lower your defense. So they hit you, you close combat, you lower your defense, they finish you off. So unless you're running close combat Sucker Punch for like the safety, I wouldn't really run close combat. You run that risk unless you're running like Choice Band, and then oh well. But close combat, Stone Edge, Iron Tail. Again, foul play. Lycanroc has great coverage, so you can run that last spot. It can be foul play, Fire Punch, Iron. Well, you don't really need Iron Head, but like Play Rough, Outrage, Psychic Fangs if you want the Psychic Terrains. Thunder Punch. I think he learns all the punches except Ice Punch. He doesn't learn Ice Punch, but he has pretty good coverage. But last spot is whatever you want. I think you need close combat Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge you need for the stab. Close combat you need for steel types. Iron Tail is good damage and fairies. Last moves, whatever you want. But pretty much with this is one where you can take away the health and put full speed and rely on the Satellite Berry because you're going to be Dynamaxed. So nothing will one-shot you, even with no health investment. Nothing will one-shot you, but if you don't run the health investment, you run the risk of them hitting you and doing like 60%. Or you run the risk, like, it just depends on what hits you, because you can get screwed with this if you run the full speed and attack, and they hit you, they do 60%. And then it's like, you're not going to get that Satellite Berry. So it's just high risk. This one's more of a high risk, high reward, because if you can get the speed, Lycanroc's going to do a lot of damage, especially with close combat, raising his attack when he's Dynamaxed. Stone Edge will give him the Sandstorm behind his back, so any sashes, and raise your special defense. So that's really good. Especially if you do this on a slower Pokemon, it would be really good too. If you run the speed investment, because you can Stone Edge, get the Sandstorm, a slow special attacker, and then pretty much guarantee while Dynamaxed that you can get the Satellite Berry. You can get under a 4th health, but not get KO'd. But you could also, with the Satellite Berry, run Endure. But you could run something like, I'll just make it in that. You could do something like, I didn't mean to do that. You can do something like Satellite Berry, No Guard, Endure, Endure, Reversal, something like that. Then probably Stone Edge. Last move, probably Sucker Punch just in case. Something you know you can't outspeed. But that's one thing you could do with him. Just max health, max speed. If you want to guarantee the Satellite Berry, I would still run Adamant, just the extra damage. But you can run the Jolly. It just depends. Do you want the more damage? Do you want the speed? Do you want it? Because it's only so fast you can get with the +1. So it's whatever. It's one way to run them though. If you really want to use the Satellite Berry, speed, Endure, Reversal, because you can take a hit. The thing about Lycanroc is you can take a hit depending on how much it does. Then you could either endure or wait to endure. So it's a little bit of, you gotta just be careful of the numbers. But some of the other moves he learns, Throat Chop's really good. He also learns Lash Out. Well, Lash Out's right here. But Throat Chop's really good. Throat Chop's better than Crunch pretty much every time for Lycanroc, honestly. Defense Drop's not gonna really do much for you, but Throat Chop. Lash Out's really good if you get hit with a move like Icy Wind or something. Probably not Icy Wind, but like you get with a move that lowers your stats and then you Lash Out, that's 150 base power, so that's a lot of damage. I would never run Iron Head unless you're not running No Guard, because there's no reason not to run Iron Tail, even though Lycanroc doesn't really have a tail. Psychic Fang is really good coverage, 85 base power, Psychic Terrain if you're Dynamaxed, and it destroys screen. It's a better Brick Break, honestly. It's a really good move. He also learns Iron Defense. I said it earlier, but he learns Iron Defense too. Lycanrock. I learned some moves. Outrage, Swords Dance. The only reason I don't like Swords Dance is because you Swords Dance. They hit you, you Swords Dance. They hit you again. You either had very low health or you get KO'd. And you might get 1k off of that. They bring in something else, then you have to Sucker Punch. Otherwise, you just get KO'd. And if they have priority, you just get KO'd. Dual Chop's a really good dragon move. Hits twice. Does 80 base. It does 80 power pretty much with both hits. And again, Payback. I didn't realize Payback actually, if you move after them, Payback doubles. I thought you had to get hit like Revenge. So Payback's actually a really good move for something slower. But with Payback, you run the risk of, because you have 82 speed, you run the risk of running into something that's slower than you and you only do 50 base power. Or you run into something that where it's close, where they have like 80 speed, but they could have speed investment or they could not have speed investment. So you run that risk of that. Pretty sure he learns Payback though. Let me double check, because Pokemon Showdown is not updated fully to where it has, you know what, Control F. Do you still learn Payback? Okay, you still do. Payback's still a TM. Okay, good. But it kind of sucks that Pokemon Showdown still has not updated yet to where it hasn't updated yet to where the Sword and Shield moves only, so it has transfer moves and stuff on there. And it doesn't really tell you, but oh well. So in my opinion, I like Lycanroc. The rock typing is not a good typing for a tank, but he can make it work. In my mind, especially with certain matchups, he can really make it work. And I really like the way Lycanroc looks. I like all the Lycanrocs a lot. They're some of my favorite Pokemon, but hope you enjoy it.